And she always had a love of music. She basically, she was asked to become our patron at that time and has been ever since. And obviously it means a lot to all the people who, ourselves, our audience, and all the people that help run our contests.
Have the royal family been in touch to say who will follow on and be the next patron? Do you have any preferences of what you'd...
We'd like King Charles.
And how do you formally go about putting that request in?
I think we'd have to write to the palace and request that they carry it on. So that's what we're hoping.
Yes, I'm sure it will be carried on because there is quite a long link with the royal family to our contests, as you know, not just since the patronage, but also, I brought this funny little thing. We found it in 1938.
Yeah.
This was the then king.
If you can hold that up, I'm wondering if we can get a shot of it. I'm hoping we can. You keep it held there, so explain the picture for us.
So we just dug this out when you contacted us. So in 1938, my grandfather and my father were invited to Windsor Castle because the band that were involved with it at that time, who were called Fodens, had won the championship. So they came to do a performance for actually the King, the Queen Mother, and Princess Elizabeth, who was then in her teens. So there's quite a long connection going back even to those times to music with the royal family, obviously.
Now, I know you had your competition last weekend, I believe it was, and I just wondered, it must have been a difficult decision whether or not to press ahead with that competition. What pressure did you come under to cancel it? Why did you decide to go ahead with it?
Well, it's, as you said, I mean, Karyn and I were... When the terrible news came through, obviously on Thursday, we held the event in Birmingham Symphony Hall, which is quite a large hall, 2,000 audience, and we had people coming from all over Europe. So we had to make a decision on Thursday night because people were getting on planes and etc. on the Friday morning, and obviously all our bands coming from long distances. So we had to make sure that the hall would allow us to do it because it's obviously a public venue. So they told us we could, and we then spoke to many people, and it's a really simple question, which I'm sure you'll understand. Would the Queen have wanted us to go ahead with this event? I think the answer is yes, and we therefore made the decision that collectively, Karyn and I, that we should go forward with it, and everyone really supported it, I think.
And do you think you made the right decision?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
When we got there, we definitely did.
Because different people have made different decisions, haven't they? Some people have kept sporting events going, others have delayed them or stopped them altogether. And I think you're right. This was a woman who was dutiful to the end, who was working to the end. And some people think, well, I'm sure she'd want it to carry on in my name. And I also wonder, did you use the time as well as a moment of reflection? Did you have a minute's silence? Did you talk about the Queen's engagement with what you did? Is that what you spent the time doing?
Well, on the day, our compere made sure it was really respectful, so that the competition did change in that normally the bands would celebrate quite a lot, but they were more subdued, obviously, and very respectful. So, yeah, I think everybody was really happy because the bands had invested a lot of money to be there, and we knew that nobody was going to be able to get their money back from anywhere, and we knew the Queen would say, guys, just go ahead with it.
It's a celebrate. Everyone said it's a different presentation. It's a celebration of her life and all the things that she's done, and you had to look at it in that way. And we did a moment's silence at the beginning, and then at the end, which is unusual, when everyone finished, everyone stood, and we had God Save the King. So we did a slightly different presentation during the course of the day.